What's up, everyone? Jaden Fire Gaming's back for another epic movie review. Today, we are going to be looking over the new Super Mario Bros. Movie that just came out. It's called the new Super Mario Bros. Galaxy movie. And alright, I'm just going to say it. This might actually be one of the best Mario movies we've got to see so far. Like, I went in expecting a fun sequel, but the scale, the characters, and the references. Oh man, this movie actually went crazy, and there are some moments in here I genuinely did not expect. So this movie basically takes everything from the first Mario film and just expands on it, like way bigger on a larger scale. We're talking space, galaxies, cosmic powers, new characters, and higher stakes overall. Mario and Luigi are more experienced now. They've got better control of their abilities and their powers, and they're dealing with a much bigger threat this time, especially with Bowser Jr. stepping up in a way we've never really seen before. Okay, now for what I like. Bowser Jr. for me absolutely steals the show. I'm not even gonna lie, Bowser Jr. was my favorite character in this whole movie. The way they handled him was actually cold. In the games, he can come off as a bit childish or a joke or like Bowser's sidekick, but here he actually takes initiative. The fact that he immediately captures Rosalina and starts building something as crazy as a galactic cannon shows he's not messing around no more. And that first encounter with Mario and the others, when he just transforms and actually holds his own, that scene has so much presence. He genuinely felt like a threat and like not just a secondary villain. He 1v 4'd Mario, Luigi, the Toad, Yoshi, and he held his own and he actually felt menacing. Secondly, Mario and Luigi feel more developed as well. You can tell they're not beginners no more. They're feeling way more confident. You can see at the beginning of the movie they were just like having fun in the desert, which is pretty interesting. But you can see that they immediately use a fire power when they saw that the temple was dark. So they've definitely become a lot more experienced. They're more confident. And it's also just nice seeing them fight and work together at a higher level as well. It feels like a proper evolution from the first movie instead of just repeating the same dynamic. And they definitely seem more in sync now as well. One thing I also really liked was Rosalina and the cosmic storyline. I think that's a big upgrade. The introduction of Rosalina was actually really well done, and the twist that she and Peach are sisters, that adds a whole new layer to the story. The whole power of the cosmos concept makes the movie feel like way bigger, like it's on a bigger scale, and it's like not just about the kingdoms anymore, it's about the universe and just like about the galaxy, no pun intended. And that's a massive upgrade in terms of stakes. Also, the power ups were a huge highlight as well. I really liked how they expanding on the power ups as well. Seeing things like the penguin suit, the drill, the ice flower, and even the feather actually used in different situations made the fight scenes like way more interesting as well, and it wasn't repetitive. Like every time I saw a power up, I got excited, and I wasn't like, oh, it's the same power up. It's like we always get something new, and they always use it in different ways, and it just makes it so interesting. It wasn't just for visuals either. You can see how each power actually changed the way they approach the challenges as well. The introduction of Yoshi was amazing, and the moment where he just like casually eats Kamek, that caught me off guard, and I can't lie, that was pretty funny. The humor in general was really solid. It didn't feel forced, and it was well balanced with like the more serious cosmic storyline, which was pretty cool. Also, there were so many references, especially to Mario Galaxy. If you haven't played the original games, there were characters like Honeycree. There was like a power up called the Red Star, which Mario used at the end. And the fact that so much of the movie takes place in space, it really feels like a big, massive reference to those games on the Wii. And by the way, you should play those games. They were really good. I played them when I was younger, and it was amazing. And then you've got random characters like Mr. Game and Watch and Fox showing up. When I saw these two, I was so confused. I was like, "Hey, why are all the Super Smash Bros. Characters turning up?" It was a nice cameo, and also those cameos were unexpected, but it actually worked and added to the fun of the movie. To be honest, like seeing the whole Star Fox crew, it was pretty nice. I found Mario and Peach's relationship pretty amusing. It wasn't too heavy or forced, but it added a bit of charm and comedy to the story. And the way Luigi and Yoshi were teasing Mario about, oh, whether or not do you like Princess Peach and stuff, it was cringe, I won't lie, but it's a funny cringe. So it's nice seeing that dynamic develop more instead of just staying basic. All right, now for the dislikes. No, Donkey Kong was disappointing to be honest, because in the first movie, Donkey Kong was definitely my favorite character, and I can't lie, I really missed him in this movie, especially after how good he was in the first one. So it felt like a massive absence. Even just like a small cameo or involvement in the larger battle would have been enough, but not seeing him at all, it felt like a bit of a missed opportunity. I know the Luma kind of referenced him at first when they just chanted Donkey Kong over and over again, but I don't know, man. For me, it's not the same. It's not the same as like seeing him, if that makes sense. Luigi still feels underused, even though Luigi is there and does have moments. It still feels like he's still kind of under Mario's shadow again. Considering how much potential he has as a character, it would have been nice to see him take on a more independent or standout role instead of mostly like supporting Mario because Mario received his fair bit of development, with Peach, with becoming stronger, with taking leadership and charge. And then we have Luigi, who's basically the same character, but at this point not as interesting because he hasn't really done anything to stand out from Mario, if that makes sense. So I would really like to see in the next movie Luigi actually taking charge and being the leader, or maybe him getting into a relationship or doing something that makes him stand out, if that makes sense. Another complaint for me is that Bowser's character feels really inconsistent. This is probably one of the biggest issues for me because it felt like Bowser was starting to shift into a direction as a character, almost like he was becoming more of a frenemy. But then Bowser Jr. just convinces him to go back to being fully evil again, and this happens way too quickly. It feels forced, especially after seeing his hints that Bowser might be like changing. I and I won't lie, guys. I thought there might be a bigger threat, and then Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, Peach, Rosalina might have to team up with Bowser and Bowser Jr. But it never happened, and it did add to like the surprise factor. But I was kind of disappointed with how quickly he was convinced to just destroy Mario and rule the cosmos again. It was a bit upsetting, but I guess it was in character for Bowser because we all know Bowser's evil, so it was disappointing, but I can kind of make sense of it. One thing that did bug me was Rosalina and Peach being sisters because it raises so many questions. Like the twist is really cool, like I said earlier, but opens up a lot of unanswered questions like where does Daisy fit into this? Are they all related as well? Is Daisy part of the trio of sisters too? And then there's stuff like who their parents are and how they got these cosmic powers. It adds depth, but it also leaves a lot unexplained, which can feel a bit frustrating. All right, guys, now for the key moments. For me, one standout key moment was at the beginning of the movie where Bowser Jr. captures Rosalina. When Bowser Jr. manages to capture Rosalina early on, that's when you can actually see he's serious and he's not a kid. Well, he is a kid, but he's a kid with big ambitions and he's actually a threat. It's not like some small plan. He's going straight for one of the most powerful characters, and he actually pulled it off as well. Also, Bowser Jr.'s first fight with Mario is probably my favorite scene in that entire movie because that first encounter where he transforms and actually holds his own against Mario and the others, that's probably one of the coldest scenes in that movie. You can really like see the shift from side character to real threat in that moment. One funny moment for me was when Yoshi ate Kamek. This was one of like the funniest moments in the films. Like it just happened so suddenly, it completely catches you off guard. I really liked how when we saw Bowser at first, we saw him still in his mini mushroom form. I like that continuance, and it was pretty funny. And I like that. I actually liked how we saw a bit of personality to Bowser instead of just being a classic monster. Um, we saw him singing and doing all of that, and it was pretty funny to me as well. Finally, guys, the visuals of just being in space, traveling between galaxies, and seeing all the references, it gives a movie a completely different feel compared to the first one. And also just seeing like Bowser Jr.'s creation while Bowser was gone, like creating this gigantic cannon, creating like an Eggman looking world dystopia. It looked so unreal and it looked so awesome and it looked like they could actually win. So as for my final verdict, this movie does exactly what a sequel should do. It goes bigger, adds more, and takes risks. Yeah, it's not a perfect film. There were moments, like I said earlier, where there were a lot of questions to be answered, but there were character issues as well, and a lot of missed opportunities. Like maybe some more power ups would have been pretty nice, and some continuation of Donkey Kong and Maybe seeing the propeller suit and the acorn suit, that would have been pretty cool. Maybe seeing Waluigi as well and Wario for that continuation from the first movie. But overall, other than those minor things, it's still a really enjoyable film. So for that reason, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It was a really solid movie. Let me know how you guys think. Did you guys think Bowser Jr. carried this movie too? Or am I overrating him? And also, where was Donkey Kong? Alright guys, that will do it for this movie review. Let me know how you guys thought of that. And if you guys liked it, please leave a like, subscribe, share a video with a friend, and turn on all post notifications because that will really give me encouragement to continue these. See you later, Chillin' Fire Gaming out.